The rain-slicked streets of Seattle gleamed under the sodium lights as I stepped into the upscale steakhouse downtown. The kind where deals were sealed over aged whiskey and prime cuts. It was my 18th birthday. And Victor Lang, the man who'd been my stepfather since I was 9, had insisted on this place. Lavish. He called it. Necessary. He added with that tight smile of his. I should have known better. Victor never did anything without strings attached, invisible threads woven into every favor, every gift. My name is Sophia Hayes. And that night, I learned that some presents come laced with poison. The table was set for drama from the start. My mother, Laura, sat there in her pearl necklace, the one Victor had bought her on their anniversary, her fingers twisting the stem of her wine glass like she was wringing out secrets. Victor dominated the head of the table, his broad shoulders filling out his tailored suit, chatting with a couple of his business associates, men in ties who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. To Sophia, Victor raised his glass, his voice booming. May she step into adulthood with the wisdom she's earned. The toast fell off, like a line from a script he hadn't rehearsed well. Laura echoed it weakly, her eyes darting to mine with something unspoken. Dinner dragged on, the conversation stiff and superficial. Victor dominated it, as always, boasting about his latest real estate flip, a waterfront condo in Bellevue that had netted him a cool $1 million. I picked at my salmon, counting down to the cake, the escape. But when the check arrived, Victor's mood shifted like a storm front rolling in. He scanned the bill, his jaw clenching. $850, he muttered, loud enough for the neighboring tables to hush. For a kid's birthday bash. Back in my day, at 18, I was hustling 3 jobs to afford a studio apartment. Victor. Please, Laura whispered, her hand reaching for his arm. He shrugged it off. No. Laura. It's time she hears it. Everything she's got, her clothes, her car, that fancy private school scholarship, it's all because of me. My sweat. My deals. I couldn't stay silent. I earned that scholarship, I said, my voice steady despite the heat rising in my cheeks. Straight A's. Extracurriculars. The works. Victor's laugh was a bark, sharp and mocking. Earned? Sweetheart. You think the world hands out scholarships without a nudge? I called in favors, pulled strings with the board. You earned nothing without my say-so. The slap came out of nowhere, his hand cracking across my face with a sound like thunder in the quiet room. Pain bloomed hot and immediate, stars dancing in my vision. The restaurant froze, waiters mid-stride, diners gaping. Laura gasped, her glass tipping precariously. But Victor? He just straightened his cufflinks, calm as a predator after the kill. Then, with the same hand that had marked me, he slid a sleek black envelope across the table. Your birthday present, he said, his tone even, as if the violence was a footnote. Open it. It'll make everything right. My cheek throbbed, but curiosity, or maybe defiance, won out. Inside were crisp legal documents, a title deed, bank statements, investment portfolios. My name leaped out in bold, Sophia Hayes, beneficiary and now sole controller. It detailed a portfolio worth over $5 million, stocks, bonds, a vacation home in the San Juan Islands, all from my grandfather's estate. He'd passed when I was 4, leaving only hazy memories of warm hugs and stories by the fire. This was held in trust until today, Victor explained, leaning back as if he'd bestowed a kingdom. Your grandfather's wish. I've managed it carefully. The words hung heavy, but something gnawed at me. If this was mine, why the secrecy? Why reveal it with a slap? Laura avoided my eyes, sipping her wine too quickly. The associates mumbled excuses and fled. Victor paid the bill with a flourish.
Standing.
Happy birthday.
Kid.
Don't squander it. He left us there, Laura and me, in the wreckage of the evening. That night, back in our craftsman home in Queen, and I pressed ice to my swelling face and pored over the documents. Dates jumped out, recent transfers, odd withdrawals, and tucked in the back, a faded note in my grandfather's scrawl. For Sophia, my light. Guard it well, they'll try to dim it. Guard it from what? Who? The questions burned hotter than my cheek. By morning, I couldn't ignore them. Laura was in the kitchen, brewing coffee she wouldn't touch. Her back to me.
Mom.
About last night. The trust. Why didn't I know? She stiffened. It was for your own good. Victor handled the details. Your grandfather trusted him. Trusted him? Or you? The words slipped out sharper than intended. She turned, eyes rimmed red. Sophia, please. Just accept it. Be thankful. Thankful. The word twisted in my gut as I retreated to the attic. Dust motes dancing in the slanted light. Boxes of old life, holiday ornaments. Baby photos hid what I sought. In a corner, an unlabeled crate yielded gold, grandfather's letters, yellowed photos of him cradling me, and the original trust documents. The Turner, no. Hayes Family Trust. Established 2007. Beneficiary me. Initial value, $5 million. Trustees, Laura Hayes-Lang and Victor Lang. But the latest audit, slipped in like an afterthought, showed $200,000 remaining. The rest vanished in investments, expenses, loans to Lang Properties, Victor's floundering real estate firm. My heart hammered. This wasn't management, it was theft. I snapped photos of every page, then spotted a business card. Elias Grant, grandfather's attorney. The number still worked. Grant Law, a crisp voice answered. This is Sophia Hayes. About the Hayes Trust. A pause. Miss Hayes, we've been anticipating your call. Can you come in today? Elias Grant's office overlooked Puget Sound, waves crashing like my thoughts. He was in his 60s, silver-haired and solemn. Your grandfather was my closest friend, he said, spreading files.
He feared this.
Set safeguards. But after your mother's marriage, oversight was blocked. He compared my photos to his records, face darkening. These withdrawals, educational fees to Victor's niece's boarding school, medical for Laura's spa retreats, investments in crypto flops tied to Lang Properties. They've siphoned it dry. And the gift. A portfolio riddled with debts, stocks leveraged against failing ventures. The island home mortgaged twice its value. You inherit assets, but with liabilities that could bankrupt you, Elias explained. A poison pill. Rage simmered. Slow building. What now? We sue for breach of fiduciary duty. Embezzlement. But we need proof, bank trails, witnesses. I nodded, steeling myself. I'll find it. Be cautious, he warned. Thieves like Victor fight dirty. Back home, I played the grateful daughter. But my mind raced. That evening, a call from an unknown number. Sophia? Clara Voss. Your grandfather's bookkeeper. Elias mentioned you. We need to meet. There's more he didn't know. We met at a foggy cafe in Ballard the next day. Clara, sharp-eyed in her 70s, slid over a ledger. A hidden account, $600,000, separate from the trust. For emergencies if the main one failed. Balance intact. But Victor had been probing it, filing claims as estate executor. He's got a judge in his pocket, Judge Harlan Reed, old golf buddy, ruling soon unless we expose the fraud. She showed spreadsheets, Trust funds funneled to offshore shells in Panama. Properties bought high and mortgaged low through Lang Properties. Laura's trips there, courier runs. Cash under radar. My mother. Complicit. Betrayal deepened. There's a whistleblower, Clara added. Tessa Reed, no relation to the judge, Victor's ex-assistant. Fired last year. Kept copies. I met Tessa in a park by Lake Union. Her nerves frayed but resolve firm. He's ruthless, she said, handing a flash drive. Emails. Voicemails. Him admitting to borrowing from your trust to prop up his empire. Planning to bolt after your birthday. Recordings. Legal in Washington.
Proof solid.
That night, threats began. Texts from burners. Stop snooping. A photo of me with Tessa. They were watching. But I'd already secured the files with Elias. The pressure built. Slow and suffocating. Ready to erupt. The days blurred into a tense haze. Each one layering more weight on my shoulders. Victor's eyes followed me around the house. Suspicious glints in his casual questions. How's the birthday gift sitting with you? Sophia? Planning to sell that island place. I'd smile. Nod. Play the part. But inside, the dross of betrayal fermented into something sharper, determination. Laura caught me once, rifling through Victor's study drawers under cover of night. What are you doing? She hissed. Her face pale in the desk lamp's glow. Looking for answers, I whispered back. Like why my trust is nearly empty. She recoiled as if slapped. You don't understand. Victor. He needed it for the business. To keep us afloat. Us. Or him. The words hung. Unanswered. She fled, leaving me with more questions. Elias and I pored over Tessa's drive in his office. The city lights twinkling like distant warnings. Emails detailed Victor's scheme. The Hayes Kids Fund is our lifeline. Transfer $500K to Panama, AC. Label as investment loss. Voicemails bragged. By the time she's 18, we'll have stripped it clean. Laura's on board. Weak as ever. Proof of conspiracy. Clara joined us. Her ledgers aligning the dots. We file tomorrow, Elias said. Civil suit first. Then tip the feds for criminal. But Victor moved fast. That night, a knock at my door, police. Miss Hayes? Complaint of harassment against Victor Lang. Fabricated. Of course. His way of muddying waters. I called Elias. He quashed it with a judge's order. The pressure mounted. A slow coil tightening. Anonymous calls at midnight. Drop it. Or your pretty face gets more than a slap. I changed my number. But paranoia crept in. Was the house bugged? Clara's warning echoed. Check for devices. I swept my room with a cheap detector app, finding nothing. But sleep evaded me. Dreams twisted, grandfather's note morphing into chains. Victor's hand striking again and again. Laura confronted me in the kitchen one dawn, coffee steaming between us. Sophia.
Stop this.
Victor says you're digging into things that could ruin us all. Ruin you? You mean? Tears welled in her eyes. I did it for you, for stability. After your father left, we had nothing. Victor provided. By stealing from me? She crumpled. It started small. A loan here, repaid with interest. But the market crashed. His deals soured. It snowballed. Excuses. But her pain was real. Still. Forgiveness? Not yet. We needed more direct ties to the offshore accounts. Tessa connected me with a former Lang Properties accountant, anonymous for safety. Over encrypted chat, Victor's got a safe in his office. Paper trails to Panama. Combo, Laura's birthday. Risky, but necessary. That weekend, Victor and Laura attended a gala. I slipped into his study. The safe clicked open, Passports, cash bundles, ledgers matching Clara's. Photos snapped. I froze at footsteps. Laura. Early return. Sophia. Panic surged. I hid behind the door.
Heart pounding.
She grabbed a file and left, oblivious. Close call. But the evidence was gold. Filing day dawned gray. Elias submitted the suit. Hayes versus Lang embezzlement. Fraud.
Breach.
By noon, Victor's world cracked. His phone exploded with calls, partners bailing, banks freezing accounts. He stormed home, face thunderous. "What the hell have you done?" he roared, cornering me in the living room. Laura hovered, wringing hands. "Filed for what's mine," I said, voice level despite the fear. "The trust you bled dry." He laughed. Manic. "You think you can take me down? I've got friends, judges,
Cops.
But his bluff rang hollow. The feds were already sniffing. Tipped by Elias. The unraveling accelerated. Judge Reed recused himself amid scrutiny, golf buddies or not. Scandal loomed. Victor's assets seized pending trial, the Bellevue condo, luxury cars, even our home. We moved to a motel. Tension thick. Laura broke, first. Sobbing confessions. He manipulated me. Promised it'd be temporary. But records showed her signatures on transfers. Complicit. Victor vanished one night. But the FBI traced him to Seattle-Tacoma. Boarding pass to Panama. Arrested at the gate. Cuffed and cursing. Interrogation transcripts Elias shared painted Victor desperate. It was business survival. The kid wouldn't miss it. But wiretaps, legal now, caught him plotting with associates. If Sophia pushes, make it look like she mismanaged once she turns 18. Framing me. The betrayal's depth hit like a wave. Drowning doubt. This wasn't survival, it was predation. Clara's hidden account froze in time. Safe. "Your grandfather knew," she said over coffee. Suspected Victor's type. That's why the backup. Pre-trial hearings dragged. Emotions raw. Victor's lawyer painted me ungrateful. A rebellious teen. But evidence mounted. Tessa testified. Voice steady. He bragged about it. Easy money from the dead old man. Laura turned state's witness for leniency, detailing years of coercion and complicity. I failed her, she admitted on stand, glancing at me with shattered eyes. I felt pity, mixed with anger, a slow burn igniting resolve. The trial proper exploded in headlines. Seattle tycoon accused of stealing stepdaughter's millions. Courtroom packed. Flashes outside. Victor, in orange, looked diminished. His charisma curdled. Prosecutors laid it bare. $4.8 million siphoned, laundered through shells, spent on yachts, mistresses' apartments. My testimony. He slapped me that night, then handed me debt disguised as a gift. The jury's faces hardened. Victor took the stand, spinning tales of loans with intent to repay. Lies crumbled under cross-exam. Deliberation took days. Tension coiling tighter. I paced Elias's office. Clara's hand on my shoulder. "You've got this." Verdict: guilty on all counts: fraud, laundering, conspiracy. Sentencing loomed. Victor's empire dissolved. Property sold. Funds clawed back. Recovered. $3.2 million for my trust. Not all, but enough. Laura got probation. Community service, her testimony key. But the emotional toll? A void where family once stood. Post-trial, I stood on the island home's deck. Mine now. Unencumbered, waves lapping like applause. Grandfather's note framed nearby, his protection enduring. But scars lingered. Therapy helped unpack the betrayal. The slaps echo. Friends rallied.
But trust?
fractured. Yet from ashes, purpose stirred. I connected with other victims, families stripped by greedy guardians. A network formed, informal at first. One evening, a call. Sophia? From the Patterson case, similar theft. Need advice. It snowballed. Elias helped formalize the Hayes Legacy Fund, aiding trust fraud victims. Launch event in Seattle drew dozens. Your story inspired us, a mother said, hugging me. Victor, from prison, sent a letter. You'll regret this. I burned it. Strength, not vengeance. Months later, legislative push, stricter trustee oversight in Washington. The Hayes Act, they called it. Grandfather's echo. Laura reached out tentatively. Can we talk? Coffee. Awkward.
I'm sorry, truly.
Therapy's helping. Forgiveness? A seed. Not yet bloomed. But healing began. The foundation's office hummed with quiet energy. A rented space in Capitol Hill overlooking the bustling streets below. Desks cluttered with case files. Volunteers poring over ledgers like detectives in a noir film. I'd traded college dorm dreams for this, deferring enrollment at UW to build something lasting. The Hayes Legacy Fund wasn't just recovery, it was prevention, education, a shield for the vulnerable. Elias mentored. Clara crunched numbers. Tessa handled ops. We'd helped 5 families already, clawing back funds, exposing crooks. Each victory chipped at the ache in my chest, turning personal pain into collective triumph. But shadows lingered. Victor's appeals dragged on, his lawyers nitpicking technicalities. From behind bars, he pulled strings, harassing calls to donors. Smears in tabloids, ungrateful heiress destroys family. I ignored them. But doubt crept. Was I too vengeful? Therapy sessions unpacked it. Betrayal reshapes you, Sophia. But you're reshaping it back. Laura attended joint sessions, halting steps toward mending. I was blind, she admitted. Feared losing everything again. Understanding dawned, slow as Seattle sunrise. A breakthrough case came via email, the Millers from Tacoma. Stepuncle drained a $2 million trust for his gambling debts.
Parallelsturm.
We dove in, subpoenas, audits. Found forgeries, offshore trails mirroring Victor's. This is bigger, Clara noted. Linked to a ring, multiple trustees colluding. FBI involvement escalated. Agent Kira Novak. Sharp and no-nonsense. Coordinated. Your fund's intel is gold. Mind wearing a wire. Echoes of my own trap. But for others. I agreed. The sting. Posing as a concerned beneficiary. Meeting the uncle at a dingy bar. Heard you handle trusts creatively, I said. Recorder hidden. He bit. Yeah. For a cut. Like that lame guy, smart until the kid ratted. Admissions flowed, names, methods. Arrests followed. 3 trustees. Millions frozen. Millers recovered 80%. You saved our son's college, the father wept. Purpose solidified. A bomb over wounds. Personal life stirred amid chaos. A volunteer. Alex, law student with kind eyes, became more. Coffee dates turned walks along Elliott Bay. Sharing stories. Your strength's inspiring, he said. Trust bloomed cautiously. But Victor's ghost haunted. A prison visit request. Elias advised against. But curiosity won. Federal pen in Oregon. Sterile and cold. Victor. Gaunt in jumpsuit. Smirked through glass. Come to gloat. To understand, I replied. Why?
He leaned in.
Survival. Your grandfather's money was dead weight. I made it work until you ruined it. No remorse. Just entitlement. You'll pay restitution? He laughed. Dream on. I left. Closure elusive, but resolve hardened. Foundation grew. Grants from philanthropists. Media spotlight. CNN interview. From victim to advocate, Sophia Hayes transforms tragedy. Calls flooded, more cases. One hit close, a girl, 17. Stepfather siphoning her inheritance. We intervened pre-18, freezing assets. Her thanks. You showed me I'm not alone. Echo of my isolation. Laura's redemption arc progressed. She volunteered. Auditing cases with Clara. Making amends, she said. A family dinner, neutral ground. Awkward laughs.
Tentative bon.
Miss this, she whispered. Forgiveness? Not full.
But thawing.
Victor's appeal failed. Sentence upheld. 12 years. Additional charges from the ring. +5. Empire liquidated. Proceeds to victims, including me. Trust rebuilt to $4.1 million. But true wealth? The lives touched. A gala marked year 1. Seattle Ballroom. Donors mingling. Speeches flowed. Elias on justice. Clara on vigilance. I closed. Betrayal stole my innocence. But it forged my purpose. We're not victims, we're victors. Applause thundered. After. Alex pulled me aside. Proud of you. Kiss under stars. Hope flickering. Yet. A late-night email. Anonymous threat. Lang's friends remember. Paranoia resurfaced. Agent Novak assured. We're watching. The coil tightened again. But now with allies. Expansion. National chapters. Lobbying D.C. for federal reforms. Grandfather's legacy amplified. Therapy revealed growth, from slapped girl to empowered woman. Laura's breakthrough, a letter.
Raw.
I chose wrong, him over you. Forgiving myself starts with earning yours. Tears fell, response drafted. Let's try. The federal building in D.C. loomed like a monolith. Marble steps slick with autumn rain.
Inside.
Congressional hearings on trust reform buzzed with urgency. I testified before the committee. Voice amplified. Millions vanish yearly from minor trusts, stolen by those meant to protect. The Hayes Act in Washington works. Make it national. Senators nodded. Questions probing. Victor's case cited as Exhibit A. Lobbying paid off. Bill advanced. Co-sponsored by a senator whose niece was victimized. Back in Seattle. Foundation thrived, staff of 12. Cases from coast to coast. A high-profile win. Hollywood exec exposed for draining Stepdad's funds. Tabloids flipped. Hayes Fund takes down Tinseltown thief. Donations surged. Personal milestones. Enrolled part-time at UW. Law classes feeding advocacy. Alex proposed over sunset picnic. Build this life together? Yes. Ring glinting. But undercurrents swirled. Victor's brother. Harlan, silent partner in schemes, surfaced. Subpoena dodged. Fled to Mexico. Extradition push. Novak led. He's got dirt on Moore. Raid on his hideout yielded ledgers, linking to Judge Reed's bribes. Reed indicted. Network crumbling. Laura's role deepened, leading support groups for complicit parents. Redeeming my choices, she said. Our relationship mended stitch by stitch. Dinners. Hikes. Proud of you. Sophia. Echo of grandfather. A crisis case. Twins orphaned. Aunt embezzling. We froze assets mid-transfer. Aunt arrested. Twins hug. You're our hero.
Purpose peaked.
Victor's health declined. Prison letter pleading mercy.
Ignored.
He passed quietly. Obituary noting disgraced developer. Closure? Mixed. Justice served. But humanity's cost pondered. Foundation's second gala. Larger venue. Survivors sharing. Alex emceed. Announcement. Federal bill passed. Cheers erupted. Grandfather's photo projected. His light guides us. Post-gala. Balcony reflection, from slap to statute. Pain transmuted. Years folded like pages in a well-worn book. The Hayes Legacy Foundation stood as a beacon. Offices nationwide. Impacting thousands. I'd graduated law school. Married Alex. Balanced advocacy with family, our daughter. Named after grandfather. A toddler with his curious eyes. Cases evolved, digital frauds. Crypto scams targeting trusts. We adapted. Tech-savvy teams leading. Laura, fully redeemed, ran the Seattle branch. Grandma duties now, she joked. Babysitting. Forgiveness complete. Bond strong. A reflective evening. Annual report showed $50 million recovered. 200 trustees prosecuted. Lives rebuilt. But the ethical echo. How far to pursue? A case tested. Forgiving trustee. Genuine remorse. We mediated restitution. No charges. Mercy amid justice. Daughter's question. Why do you help? Mommy? Because sometimes family hurts, but we can heal and protect others. Her nod. Profound. The story's end isn't tidy. Betrayals scar. But scars tell tales of survival. What remains? A world slightly safer for the innocent. A legacy enduring. And the question, when trust shatters, do we rebuild stronger?
Yes.
Whisper the waves.
Yes.